She said work. But I found her here. This Valentine's Day, I spent $300 on a romantic dinner reservation, flowers, and a fancy box of chocolates. But guess what? I ended up eating alone. Have you ever planned a perfect evening and been stood up by your own spouse? But friends, that's only the beginning of this story. My name is Andrew. I'm 43 years old, living in Boston, and I work as an engineer. My wife's name is not disclosed for censorship reasons, but her cat's name is Whiskers. Whiskers is a grumpy, overweight tabby who seems to have a personal vendetta against me. But this story isn't about Whiskers, it's about what happened on Valentine's Day. I had planned everything down to the finest detail. A reservation at an upscale French restaurant, a bouquet of her favorite roses, and a box of artisanal chocolates. Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, right? Well, love had other plans for me that night. Around 4 p.m., I got a text from my wife. "Babe, I'm so sorry. I have to work late. A last-minute project came up. Rain check. Rain check." On Valentine's Day. I stared at the text for a long moment before replying with a simple, "Okay. Love you." I tried to shake off the disappointment. Work happens. Deadlines are deadlines. But something about the message didn't sit right with me. Maybe it was the casual tone, or maybe it was the fact that she hadn't mentioned anything about this project earlier. I decided to stay home. I poured myself a glass of wine, turned on a random movie, and tried to relax. But then I noticed something. Her tablet was on the kitchen counter, unlocked. Now, I'm not proud of what I did next, but curiosity, or maybe suspicion, got the better of me. I opened her recent apps and found a map open with a location pinned. It wasn't her office. It was a boutique hotel downtown. My heart started pounding. A hotel? On Valentine's Day? What would you have done in my place? Would you have ignored it and trusted her? Or would you have grabbed your coat and gone to see for yourself? I grabbed my coat. The drive downtown felt like it took hours, even though it was only 20 minutes. My mind raced with possibilities. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe there was an explanation. But as I pulled into the hotel parking lot, I saw her car. I parked a few spaces away and walked into the hotel lobby. It was busy with couples, dressed to the nines, celebrating love. I approached the front desk. "Can I help you, sir?" the receptionist asked politely. "I'm looking for my wife," I said, showing her a photo from my phone. The receptionist hesitated. "I'm sorry, sir. We can't share guest information." But fate has a cruel sense of humor because, at that moment, I spotted her. She was walking across the lobby, holding hands with a man in a sharp suit. My stomach dropped. They headed toward the elevator, laughing softly, completely unaware of me standing just a few feet away. I had two choices, cause a scene or walk away. I walked away. I went back to my car and sat there in silence, staring at the elevator doors through the glass facade of the hotel. An hour passed. Then 2. Finally, I saw them leave the hotel together. They hugged briefly before going their separate ways. He walked to a different car, and she got into hers. I followed her home. When she walked through the door, she looked surprised to see me sitting on the couch. "Hey," she said nervously. "You're still up. How was work?" I asked, my voice calm. She hesitated. "Busy. Long night." I held up her tablet, showing her the pinned hotel location. "Is this where your office is now?" I asked. Her face went pale. The next hour was a blur of tears, excuses, and half-hearted explanations. The man was a co-worker. They had been meeting in secret because their company had a strict no-fraternization policy. She swore it wasn't physical, just emotional support. But does that make it better? Does emotional betrayal hurt less than physical? I didn't sleep that night. Over the following days, we had long conversations. Painful conversations. Trust is a fragile thing, and once it breaks, it's nearly impossible to put back together. We agreed to go to counseling. I don't know if we'll make it, but we're trying. Whiskers, of course, remains completely unaware of the tension in the house. He naps on our bed, occasionally swatting at my feet when I walk by. Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, trust, and connection. But sometimes, it reveals cracks you didn't even know were there. So tell me, have you ever followed a suspicion and uncovered something you wish you hadn't? Because I certainly have. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if there were any sound mistakes in the story, forgive me. We all mess up sometimes. I want to share with you one more interesting story from my life. My wife's best friend, Sabrina, a real estate agent earning $600,000 a year, has a way of turning casual situations into something uncomfortable. Isn't it odd how $600,000 can make someone act like they own every room they walk into? Do you think money makes people act bolder? It all started when my wife suggested I join her and Sabrina for a gym session one Saturday morning. Sabrina has this amazing personal trainer, my wife said. It'll be fun if we all work out together. I wasn't too excited about sweating through an awkward morning with my wife's best friend, but I agreed. When we arrived at the upscale gym, Sabrina was already there, dressed in sleek designer activewear, her hair tied back in a perfect ponytail. Well, look who decided to join us today, she said with a smirk. The workout began normally enough. We did stretches together, and Sabrina made light jokes about how guys always overestimate their strength. But things shifted when we moved to the weight machines. Let me spot you, Sabrina said, stepping behind me as I prepared to lift. Her hands rested lightly on my back as she leaned closer than necessary. You've got great form, she said softly. Would you have let that slide? Or would you have said something? Later, while my wife was busy with her set on another machine, Sabrina walked over and grabbed a set of dumbbells. She positioned herself right in front of me, her movements slow and deliberate as she performed her reps. Is my form okay? You're watching, right? She asked, making direct eye contact through the mirror in front of us. I quickly looked away, pretending to focus on my own workout. During a water break, Sabrina sat down next to me on a bench while my wife was across the gym with a trainer. You know, I don't usually enjoy working out with other people. But you make it kind of fun, she said with a playful grin. I laughed awkwardly and changed the subject. When it was time to stretch at the end of the session, Sabrina made sure to partner with me. Don't be shy. Help me stretch my hamstrings, she said as she leaned forward, holding on to my hands. The tension was unbearable. Would you have called her out at this point? Or would you have just finished the session and gotten out of there? After the workout, Sabrina suggested we grab protein shakes from the gym's juice bar. As we waited for our drinks, she leaned closer and whispered, You know, I've always thought guys who take care of themselves are attractive. I froze. At that moment, my wife walked up, smiling, completely unaware of what had just been said. When we got home, I felt like I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. Sabrina was acting strange today, I told my wife. She laughed it off. Oh, please. Sabrina flirts with everyone. That's just her personality. But does it? Does a casual personality include whispered compliments and lingering touches? That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't shake the memory of Sabrina's glances, her words, her smirk in the gym mirror. Since then, I've been avoiding any invitations that involve Sabrina. Her charm might work on others, but I can't shake the feeling that there's more behind those smiles. So tell me, have you ever been in a situation where your wife's best friend crossed the line? Because I certainly have. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Subscribe to hear new interesting stories and find out how much money women spend.